Hey there, amazing fans! Before we dive into today's drama, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support means the world to us. Now, welcome to another relaxing moment with Shugga Stories. Grab a seat, sit back, relax, and let's journey into the story together. Amara Tressel's world was made of porcelain and silk. The morning sun filtered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of her family's penthouse suite, illuminating the gilded edges of furniture too delicate to touch. She sat at the edge of her vanity, hands trembling over a letter pressed flat against the glass. Amara, her mother's voice sliced through the air. Cassandra Tressel was elegance incarnate, her silver hair swept back into a chignon, her pearls gleaming like tiny moons. The car will be here in an hour. Get dressed. I won't, Amara said, voice barely above a whisper. Her mother's eyes sharpened like broken glass. You will. If you don't, you'll find yourself with nothing. No money. No name. No home. Amara's throat tightened. She had always suspected her mother's love came with conditions, but this was monstrous. Who is he? She demanded. Why are you doing this to me? Cassandra turned, her lips curling into a cold smile. It's not about love, darling. It's about reputation. About survival. Amara's pulse quickened. She stumbled back from the vanity, nearly knocking over a vase of white roses. You're selling me off. Cassandra's eyes softened for a fleeting second. Not selling. Saving. Your father's business is in ruin. If we don't, she cut herself off, smoothing invisible wrinkles from her dress. This is the only way. An hour later, Amara found herself seated in the back of a black limousine, the city's skyline a blur of cold glass and steel. She clutched the folds of her ivory gown, her heart hammering against her ribs. The ceremony was held in a grand cathedral, dark and cavernous, with flickering candles lining the pews. The air smelled of incense and wilted lilies. Amara's steps echoed as she walked down the aisle, her mother's iron grip steady on her arm. At the altar stood a man, tall and cloaked in a tailored black suit, his face hidden behind a smooth, featureless mask. His presence sent a shiver through her. His silence was louder than any voice. Do you, Amara Tressel, take this man as your lawfully wedded husband? Her lips trembled. The priest's voice faded into the roaring silence of her panic. Yes, she whispered. The man's hand closed over hers, strong and unyielding. When he spoke his vows, his voice was low, almost inaudible. I do. The ceremony blurred until the first dance. The reception hall was filled with strangers, their faces shadowed and expectant. Amara's heart pounded as the masked man led her onto the floor. His gloved hand rested lightly on her waist. Who are you? She hissed beneath her breath. His voice was a soft rasp. You'll know soon enough. And as she lifted her veil, the breath caught in her throat. His face was scarred, but familiar. The helicopter ride to Leon's private island estate was as silent as it was swift. Amara sat across from her new husband, her pulse hammering against her throat. His mask was gone now, revealing his scarred, yet striking features. A jagged scar traced his cheekbone, bisecting his full lips and giving him an aura of something ancient and dangerous. Why the mask? She demanded, breaking the silence. Leon's dark eyes flicked toward her, his voice smooth as velvet. Would you have married me if you'd seen the scar first? Amara flinched. I didn't marry you by choice. No, he agreed softly. But you will stay. For 100 days. The helicopter landed on a sprawling estate wrapped in mist. A mansion of obsidian stone loomed before them, its windows dark, its towers clawing at the sky. As they stepped onto the front steps, Amara felt a chill that had nothing to do with the wind. Inside, the mansion was even more imposing, vaulted ceilings, rich tapestries, a grand chandelier dripping with crystal. Yet shadows clung to the corners, and every footfall echoed too loudly. Leon led her to a vast sitting room where a fire crackled in the hearth. Here are the rules, he said, pouring 2 glasses of dark wine. You'll stay here in this house, for 100 days. No leaving. No questions about my past. And you are never to enter the locked rooms. Amara's hands curled into fists. And if I refuse? He leaned in, the scent of his cologne wrapping around her like smoke. If you leave, your family loses everything. They'll be ruined. And you, well, let's just say your world will shatter. She swallowed the rising fear. What is this place? Leon's smile was bitter. A prison if you like. Or a sanctuary. It depends on your perspective. That night, as she lay in the massive four-poster bed, she heard it, the whispering. Soft voices, threading through the walls, calling her name. Amara. The next morning, Amara woke to an eerie quiet. The mansion's halls seemed endless, each turn revealing locked doors, strange paintings, and the faint scent of old roses. She passed a hallway lined with mirrors that didn't reflect her properly. Her reflection lagged, turning its head after she did. She found herself standing before a heavy oak door marked with a strange symbol. A circle with a line through it, surrounded by unfamiliar runes. A faint whisper seemed to come from behind it. Amara. Her hand hovered over the doorknob when Leon's voice cut through the silence. I said no. She spun around, startled to see him standing in the hallway, his expression grim. That door is off limits. What's in there? She demanded. Something that should remain locked, he said simply. Don't let your curiosity get you killed. Her heart thudded as she stepped back. That night, she dreamed of a girl who looked exactly like her. The girl was dressed in a wedding gown, her hands bound by red ribbons. Help me, the girl whispered, her voice raw with desperation. Please, don't let him win. Amara woke gasping, her sheets tangled around her legs. She glanced toward the locked door, and saw a faint, flickering light beneath it. Days passed in a blur of tense silence. Leon remained distant, yet strangely watchful. One evening, as a storm raged outside, Amara confronted him in the grand library. Why did you bring me here? She demanded, her voice trembling. Leon's jaw tightened. Because you were always meant to be here. You're insane, she spat. I never asked for this. Lightning flashed, illuminating the room in stark white. In the sudden light, Leon's mask, now resting on a nearby table, seemed to leer at her. Without thinking, she lunged for it, throwing it across the room. His face, revealed fully, was devastatingly handsome beneath the scar. His eyes glittered with something dark and ancient. The scar, he said softly, stepping closer, is a reminder. The curse, tied to both our families. And you, Amara, you were never a choice. You were a necessity. Her breath hitched. What are you saying? He traced the scar on his cheek. I'm saying that you're part of breaking the curse. You always were. His next words chilled her to the bone. The scar is because of you. The next morning, a letter arrived, slipped under her door. The handwriting was unfamiliar, but the message was clear. Amara, he's lying to you. Your family's pact with his goes back generations. You were never meant for love. You were meant for sacrifice. The curse feeds on bloodlines. If you don't run, you'll die. Escape before it's too late. Her hands trembled as she folded the letter. Panic surged through her veins. She packed her bags in frantic silence, stuffing clothes and jewelry into a suitcase. Just as she reached the front door, Leon appeared, his silhouette framed by moonlight. His voice was calm, almost gentle. Going somewhere? I won't let you trap me here, she said, her voice cracking. He stepped closer, his gaze steady. You can't leave. Not yet. I don't care about your curse, she snapped. I'm not going to die for your family's mistakes. He sighed, a sound that was both weary and resigned. It's not just about my family. It's about yours too. We're both prisoners in this. Her pulse roared in her ears. Then why marry me? Why not just let me go? His voice dropped, a whisper of regret. Because you're the key, Amara. And now it's too late to run. That night, Amara could no longer bear the suffocating tension in the house. She slipped outside, into the moonlit gardens, hoping the fresh air would clear her mind. The gardens stretched far and wide, a maze of hedges, marble statues, and black roses that seemed to drink in the moonlight. At first, she thought she could find her way out, but the deeper she went, the more the paths twisted back on themselves. The hedges grew taller, the air heavier. Suddenly she found herself in a clearing, a garden of mirrors. Dozens of tall, gilded mirrors stood in a circle, their surfaces gleaming under the moon. As she approached one, her breath caught in her throat. The mirror showed her reflection, but different. In it she was dressed in a blood-red gown, her eyes hollow, her lips twisted in a cruel smile. Another mirror revealed her broken and lifeless, her wedding dress stained with crimson. A third showed her standing atop a grand balcony, powerful and free, the world at her feet. "Is this my future?" she whispered. Her reflection in the central mirror tilted its head, lips parting as if to speak. "Not future," the reflection murmured. "Possibilities." Amara staggered back. Behind her, she caught movement in another mirror. Leon, kissing a woman who looked exactly like her. Her breath stilled. She turned to flee, but the garden shifted, the mirrors forming walls around her. She was trapped, forced to confront every version of herself. A voice whispered behind her. "You can't run from yourself, Amara. You never could." When she finally escaped the labyrinth, the dawn was breaking. She stormed into the mansion, her mind racing with fragments of her reflection's warnings. She found Leon in the library, his back turned, gazing out the window. "Who was she?" Amara demanded. He turned slowly, his face unreadable. "You saw her. The woman in the mirror. 'Tis to me." Leon's shoulders stiffened. "She was my fiancée. Before you." "She looked exactly like me," Amara whispered. "How is that possible?" Leon hesitated, then crossed the room, standing inches from her. His voice was low and strained. "Because she was you." Amara recoiled. "What do you mean?" He sank into a chair, his head in his hands. "The curse is older than both of us. It binds our families, your bloodline and mine. My family made a pact with shadows centuries ago. In exchange for wealth and power, we promised them a bride from your bloodline. A perfect match. But the pact failed when you died." A chill ran down Amara's spine. "You're saying I'm her. Reborn." "I didn't believe it at first," Leon admitted. "But when I saw you, when you appeared in my life exactly as she did, I knew. You're the key. But you're not a replacement. You're the original." A soft, cold breeze stirred through the room. Amara's breath caught as a translucent figure shimmered behind Leon. The woman from her dreams, the ghostly bride, stood there, her eyes pleading. "Finish what I started," the ghost whispered. "Free us both." That night, Amara lit candles in the grand hall, drawing the runes the ghost bride had whispered in her dreams. Leon watched from the doorway, torn between fear and fascination. "You don't have to do this," he said, stepping closer. "I do," she replied. "She's trapped. We both are." As the final rune was drawn, shadows poured from the walls, writhing like smoke. Whispers filled the room, voices from the past, secrets her family had tried to bury. The ghost bride materialized fully, her chains rattling. "The pact can be broken," she said. "But the price is blood. Yours or his." Leon stepped forward. "I'll do it. Let her go." "No," Amara said firmly. "This isn't just your curse. It's mine too. I'll finish it." The ghost nodded. "You must pour your blood into the circle and speak the unbinding words." Leon's eyes locked on hers, desperate. "Amara, please. There has to be another way." "There isn't," she whispered. With trembling hands, she drew a knife across her palm and let the blood drip into the runes. The shadows recoiled, shrieking. But as she spoke the words, the shadows surged, clawing at her, trying to drag her into their depths. "Amara!" Leon shouted, grabbing her as she began to collapse. Amara woke on the cold stone floor, Leon's arms around her. The shadows had withdrawn, but the air felt charged with unfinished magic. "The ritual isn't over," the ghost bride murmured. "The curse binds not just us, but the entire legacy. The family's pact must be rewritten, or it will claim you both." Amara sat up, her heart hammering. "How?" The ghost's eyes darkened. "By replacing the pact. With your own blood, your own terms." Leon's face paled. "If you do that, You'll be binding yourself to the shadows forever. Amara's hands trembled. I'd rather face the truth than live in fear. As the final incantation echoed in the chamber, Leon's body shimmered, his form beginning to fade into mist. No! Amara screamed, reaching for him. Stay with me! But his voice was faint, his face blurring. I'm sorry, Amara. This was always the end. In that final moment, Amara made her choice. Instead of finishing the incantation as the curse demanded, she altered the words. I reject the pact. I write my own terms, she declared, her voice ringing with power. By my blood and will, I break the chains of the past. The shadows howled, twisting violently, before shattering into nothingness. Leon collapsed to the floor, coughing, his form solidifying. He looked up, dazed, as Amara helped him to his feet. What did you do? I rewrote the pact, she said softly. Not with fear. With love. And I made it mine. The ghost bride smiled faintly before dissolving into light, her chains clattering to the floor. The mansion shuddered, the walls cracking as the oppressive weight lifted. Outside, the first light of dawn painted the sky gold. Amara stood tall, her hand in Leon's. Is it over? He asked. She nodded. The curse is broken. But the legacy remains. It's ours now, to protect or to destroy. As they stepped outside into the sunlight, Amara turned, her eyes fierce and unyielding. She faced the camera, her voice low and steady. This wasn't just a love story. It was a warning. The screen faded to black. The end.